Now, advice for the older age of the life. So, sometime when we become a little bit older, of course, then we become retired, right? Retirement happens. Then suddenly, many people express that, oh, now I feel like I'm become useless. People also looks like doesn't value me, and normally I have something to drive, something want to done, like something doing. So these are gone. So then you feel like there's no driving force of the life. And then sometimes we physically we have a lot of pain and the sickness, and sense have become maybe a little bit unclear. Like one time I was um, teaching. I was on the teaching tour. Then there's one old lady, and she said, "I want to meet you in person. I want to ask you a question, not in public." So then I make time for her, and then she expressed about her like old age problem, and she asked me, "Can you see something on my face?" I look at her face. There's nothing wrong. I said, "Yeah, mm, but nothing special." And she said, "Wrinkles." And his face has full of wrinkles, and she really don't like those wrinkles. And she said, "I look at the mirror. When I look at the mirror, I saw all these wrinkles. Then what I do sometimes, I'm very upset and I broke the mirror. But then a few days later, I need to buy again, new mirror." So then she looked at the mirror. What she lost is the mirror, not the wrinkle. And the wrinkles are still there. And she said, "I'm really not happy about my wrinkles." And she's crying. Then I tell her, normally in our life, there's so many stages. And of course, each stage of life, we experience that. Like when we are young, we think, I want to become 18 years old. I'm not happy about my life now. No freedom. We complain. Then maybe when you become in the middle age, midlife, and we think, I'm so busy. I don't have time for myself. So much stress, so much competition. I miss my childhood when I was young. I'm free. I have a lot of time with my friends and family, and then we do so many different exciting things together, and I don't have to take all this responsibility. My childhood life is wonderful, and we are not appreciate that the adult life. Then maybe when we become the little bit older, we complain more also. Oh, I miss my childhood life. I miss my adulthood life. Now I'm become too old. But actually, what we call each life has unique qualities. When we are young, we have the young life enjoyment, young life capacity, potential, so many different things. If we appreciate that, if we recognize that, really good. But then adult has another possibility, another experience, another life enjoyment. Then become older, there's so many different kind of plus, lot of experience when we become older, lot of wisdom also. And we gone through all the different stages of life. Actually, we are become kind of like all the ups and downs of life, that each we develop some resilience, some knowledge, some kind compassion, so many things. So I told her that when I look at my grandmother, she has wrinkles. Her face is full of wrinkles, my grandmother. But for me, my grandmother is very beautiful. She's very cute, smile. She really take care of me when I was young. And she has full of kind and compassionate. And I see each wrinkle for her is wisdom, is experience, is the task of the life. So for me, the wrinkle of my grandmother is cute, beautiful. So I mentioned this to her. And she said, well, I will try, but it will not change my wrinkle. The only way getting worse. And she's gone. And I haven't met her for 1 year. Next year, I went to that area and she came to me and she said, thank you for your advice. Now I'm not breaking the mirror anymore. So then I asked her what happened. And she said, she went home and reflect about these things. Then actually, many people ask her normally to give advices sometimes. Sometimes she meet some other people, she can help for the many different people also. And she see a lot of how her life gone up and down, so many things, that she has also different skill, different knowledge, different experience, different capacity, different life enjoyment also there. So she began to recognize and she feel more happy. And also it depends on the culture, In some culture, the elder considered as full of wisdom, especially in the Tibetan culture, Asian culture. We pay a lot of respect also. So it's all about the perception. It's all about how we want to recognize where we are, appreciate that or not. So appreciate the whatever we are, and then try to recognize new life experience, wisdom, knowledge, enjoyment, possibility, and work with that. I think really important. And then the biggest fear sometimes is like fear of death and dying and sickness. So normally what we call the Bardo practice. So Bardo practice is actually when we're getting older, a lot of things dissolve, like a gross level of like when we are adult, so much ego, what we call unhealthy sense of self. But when we become older, normally these all dissolving. Actually, deeper level, we become more kind normally. And the fixation mind become less. At the same time, the element in the body also dissolves. And what we call, these are great opportunity to really transform our mind. So what we call Bardo meaning in between moment. One is going to die, another is being born. But we need to recognize that what is new thing that comes to us. We embrace that. That's very important. And even when we die, what we call it, that learn until the last breath, transform until the last breath. And special for the meditation, death and dying is the best opportunity to connect with our true nature, the essence of awareness, love and compassion, wisdom, sometimes what we call awareness without object, love and compassion without reason, wisdom without concept. So we will experience that moment of death and dying. Normally we experience during the sleep also, or we experience the big transition of the life, like lost job, break up with your partner, or sudden shock, somebody boom. At that time, something's die, something's not appear here. In between moment is the opportunity moment. So think about this Bardo teaching and practice, and taking death and dying as the journey, as the path.